Yo, what's up, everybody? It's JD, and guess what? We're back for some news, actually. I hope you all enjoyed my Spider-Man Let's Play. I had a great time making it for you, and I got the Mortal Kombat one that's just kind of rolling out because I never got a chance to upload that for you. But if you enjoyed it, I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody on Patreon. Thank you to everybody through the YouTube memberships who support. For those that don't know, we have Mario Wonder going to be our next game, along with some new podcast episodes and some stand-up comedy and some other stuff coming to my Patreon, so be on the lookout for that. I appreciate each and every one of you. But today we're talking about some news because I've kind of been out of the loop for the last few months, or last month, October. I mean, I've been uploading gaming videos, but now there's gaming news. There's a lot of it, and today's subject of discussion is Miles Morales being the face of future Spider-Man Insomniac franchises. Now, this video is obviously going to be a spoiler. I'm past the point of like not doing spoilers now, so I'm going to do a spoiler review about Spider-Man. I'm also going to do some in-depth talks for me personally, because I want to talk about it, about the side quests. I would like to do my favorite suits in the game, but today let's talk about the fact that if you have beaten the game, you would know this. You watched my playthrough, it ended, and you would be aware of how the game ended. It ended with Peter kind of passing off the reins to Miles in a way where it wasn't meant to say that, in my opinion, that Peter won't be back. But according to this Gizmodo article, it seems that the developers behind the game, I guess, always thought that Miles was going to take the front seat of the car. For me, sounds cool. I like Miles. I think he's great. Like Peter, think he's great. There's a whole bunch of Spider-Men and women and people out there that I think are great. But there are those that, you know, don't like Miles for obvious reasons, I'd like to say. Yeah. So, let's read this article together. And we'll discuss whatever it is that they talked about. For those who don't know, at the end of Spider-Man 2, there is a 3 coming though. Peter basically hands off the reins to Miles. Miles is like, yo, I'm enough for the city. I got this. And then Peter and Mary Jane get together and they're going to restart the Emily May Foundation and go on with their business, obviously. There's also going to be a Spider-Man 3 where Norman Osborn is very frustrated that Harry Osborn is hurt. I still need to make a spoiler review. I don't understand that he was so mad at Spider-Man about what Harry's decisions. But, you know, Otto Octavius was in the end spoiler cutscene. He talks about, I'm writing the final chapter. We also got a sneak peek of Silk, another Spider-Woman who's part of the whole MCU or Spider-Verse. So there's a lot coming. It's going to be very interesting. But it seems that moving forward, which I believe is going to push into a Miles Morales 2 game, we're going to get a solo Miles Morales game, and then that'll lead into Spider-Man 3, where I think Miles will absolutely be the main Spider-Man, but Peter's going to have to come back and help out. So let's read this and we'll talk about it. All right, so it says, like the original Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales before it, the recently released Spider-Man 2 is a bombastic Mr. Fantastic superhero journey with 2 Spider-Men on hand in Peter Parker and Miles Morales, plus the introductions of Kraven the Hunter, the alien symbiote who will become Venom. The sequel can't help being a bigger beast with more stakes and big plot turns worth talking about. Naturally, we just want to pick the Insomniac Games team's brains about, I can't read, how those decisions were made and what they could possibly lead to down the line. Now it says, Days before the game's release, Insomniac's narrative director Ben Arfman, who I met at that event back in the day, or back in September, said advanced writer Brittany Morris had a spoiler-heavy discussion with IO9 about Marvel Spider-Man 2, which covers both the main story and some side mission content. Great. Because there was a decent amount of actually spoiler stuff in the side missions that I haven't even gotten around to talking about. So if you want, I'll chat about it in a future video. All right, so spoiler warning for any more spoilers that you care about. But like, hopefully you know what's going on and you just avoided all these videos. Kraven the Hunter. Let's see. So Justin Carter, IO9. Let's start with Kraven, who comes to New York looking to find a worthy opponent. How did you settle on him having killed several of the first game's main villains, which hangs over much of the story's events? That was fairly interesting, actually. I thought it was kind of crazy that he just happened to have a plaque of Rhino's head on the wall. Like, what? So, because how do you bring back the Sinister Six without some of the Sinister Six members? I don't know. Ben Arfman says, whenever we talked about this game, we talked about it being a darker, more mature story than the first two Spider-Man games, and part of that involved raising the stakes. With Kraven, we really wanted to build up the idea that if he truly was the world's greatest hunter, and he can't have the title if he's not collecting some heads. Then he can't. I don't know. I don't like the way they phrase that. Brittany Morris, advanced writer, says we wanted to make sure he was extremely menacing to both the heroes and the player. It's one thing to show him filling up a camera space while being intimidating, and it's another to show the kind of impact he has. We needed to give you a glimpse of what he was capable of, like in the beginning of the game when he breaks that guy's neck. Yeah, sure. Arfman, I love our Kraven and his actor Jim Puri so much. I remember when we released the first gameplay trailer that opened in on him in the woods. There were reaction videos where folks had no idea what game was being shown. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I had no idea. I might have been one of those reactions. I don't know. They saw the first guy and they were like, huh? Is that really Kraven? He's okay. And then they saw the actual Kraven and people were universally flipping out. We've got a lot of great villains, but he's one of my favorites. Yeah, Kraven's he's a good Spider-Man enemy. I would say so. Is that it? What the hell? Oh. Wait, what? What? Do I have to pay for this article or something? Okay, this ruined my video now. What's going on? Where's the rest of the... Oh, whoa. It's probably right there. I messed up. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. Continue reading. For free, please. Okay, IO9 says, alongside Kraven, we've got Venom, who's Harry in this universe. He's drawing on elements of main Venom's Flash Thompson and Eddie Brock. Did you ever feel you were taking too much from either? Arfman says, our process is always we read everything, we watch and consume everything that exists around these characters and in these stories. Then, as senior narrative director John Paquette always says, we forget about everything. We try and ingest all of it and then do our own thing. You can see influences from other stories, as you say, but when we were telling it, all we were thinking about was our Harry Osborn and Peter Parker, and trying to figure out how to put them on this incredible collision course that would challenge them both emotionally. We love Eddie's Venom, and we definitely wanted to tell our own Venom story, one that was unique and interesting, and also build on this distinct lore we set up. No disrespect to the Eddie Brocks and the Flash Thompsons. I kind of think Harry being Venom makes a lot of sense. It's very like Naruto, Sasuke, Goku, Vegeta, whoever your main antagonist is with your main protagonist. Like, it would be really dope if Harry had always been Venom. And then his dad can be the Green Goblin so that there's not two goblins in the family. I kind of like the symbiote going to Harry because I think he has to have more of a purpose for why he's upset with Peter. Like maybe you're always the hero, not just like the symbiote taking over him and then he's just like evil. More of a always living in Peter's shadow type of way. And even with his dad being like, hey, you need to be more like your friend Peter, Harry, like stuff like that, you know. I hate when parents do that. But yeah, I liked Harry being I liked Harry being Venom. I thought it made a lot of sense personally. I thought it made a lot of sense, and this is their universe, so they can do what they want with it. But I was like, yo, that would be a dope like retcon that, personally for me. All right, it feels like Harry's Venom was a fairly open secret ahead of the game's release. I'm curious, were you driven to deliver the twist that had to be to deliver a twist that had to be equal to or an escalation of the Doc Ock reveal from the first game? I apologize for me tripping over words. Arfman, I don't think we necessarily thought of things in that type of way. Whenever we tell a Spider-Man story, we always come back to the man underneath the mask is just as, if not more important than the mask itself. The human drama that Peter and Miles go through is what makes the game really relatable and what keeps fans coming back to them. The idea of telling a Venom story was something that we knew we wanted to do super early on, and we had conversations about that even during the first Spider-Man. For us, that meant, how do we get to those personal hooks? How do we make Venom matter, not just to Spider-Man, but to Peter as well? Having Harry be the person who becomes Venom just naturally laid the track where there'd be so much drama here between those two friends. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because when they're covered up, hence, Spider-Man can be anyone. A la, Stan Lee, Excelsior. And it's not about who's under it, it's about whoever wears the suit. But you wouldn't know that with the people who talk trash about Miles. But still, even with Venom, I kind of felt like, I thought it was fine for him to be Harry. Especially in this video game universe, who cares if they change the storyline around? But Venom is always going to be a menacing symbiote, alien organism. So now, strap him on to your best friend. What do you do in that scenario? And then we got this game, and I thought that was tight. All right, was the playable Venom sequence something you knew right away you wanted to do? Was it ever possible that we would play as a proto Venom earlier in the game and then the real deal? I called it! Morris, we determined that sequence very early in the production and knew that it was something we wanted to do. As we were talking about what must-have moments need to go into the game, I think we collectively understood that if we have a Venom game, we need to be able to play as him. It'd be such a missed opportunity otherwise, where we are game developers, but we're also fans, and so we knew what we wanted, and that players would probably agree that it'd be the right move. Called it, baby. I knew we were going to play as Venom. Even though I thought we were going to be able to play as him after the game, but no. All right, so Arfman says, I remember in the earliest macro conversations with John and Brian Intihar, that's actually the guy who was there that I met, sorry. Ryan Smith, that playable Venom was a thing we knew was going to be our act break between Act 2 and 3. Everyone could feel that it would have players' jaws on the floor, and when we started production on it, the team really got behind it right away. I was there. I was playing the game like, yo, we can play as him. I love this. The designer of Venom was Shane McCloskey, who worked very closely with a core team to develop his moveset to figure out what the playable space was going to be. It was just one of those things where you could feel everybody getting so enthusiastic about and bringing their A game into it, because it was an amazing moment that would make fans lose their shiz. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. Io9 says, usually with Venom, Carnage doesn't take too long to follow behind him, but it was surprising to see him set up through the side missions via the Flame Quest chain rather than the main story. Okay, so for those that don't know, I finished all the side quests. I 100%ed the game, but I didn't upload the side quests because I was like, I just thought the main quest would be the only thing that they would want to see. But if you want me to see if you want me to upload those, I'd have to go back and play them because I didn't record them the first time. But still, yeah, in the side quest, the Flame, you get a cutscene where Carnage is revealed. It's very interesting. So Morris says, for this game, our opportunities were mainly on Pete and Miles, making sure to showcase them and developing heroes from beginning to end, and also doing a Venom story in our own way. We also had a number of villains that deserve their own time on screen, and we didn't just want to make them one-dimensional. We really wanted to give them motivations and desires. To do all of that in a way that's meaningful and a good experience for players, you need time. Yeah, like even Scream in the game, I was tripping when that happened. I was like, wait, what is... I was like, they brought Scream all the way into this? That, to me, that was a lot, but, they did it. Arfman says, like we were saying early on, we knew that we wanted to tell a great Venom story. Anything that we would that would distract from that wasn't on brand. But at the same time, we're huge fans of Carnage and Cletus Cassidy. We didn't want to shortchange that story by not giving it a full service. At least to this game, we got to introduce our version of Cletus and also do some work on the relationship between Peter and Yuri Watanabe, who's now become Wraith. If we're going to dive into that Carnage storyline, we want to make sure we to really give it everything it deserves. All right, Io9 says you said earlier you basically knew right away you wanted to make playable Venom. Does that also apply to the ending of this game with Miles as the main Spider-Man from now on? And here's where this video comes from. So, Morris, it always felt very natural, and I think we all collectively thought it would happen. You guys are very progressive. Thank you. To me, it shows a great deal of evolution for Miles. At the beginning of the game, we see him struggling to figure out what he wants to do with his life. By the end, we had Miles carrying the burden of saving the city and also carrying Pete when Pete wasn't strong enough to carry himself at various points. You ain't had to say it like that, bro. You ain't had to say it like that, bro. I said it in my Let's Plays though. Bruh, Peter was getting saved left and right by Miles. I was like, well, Pete, what is happening? And I'm a Peter fan. But Miles was cooking, bro. He was cooking in this game. Okay, so it says, that's what's been so cool about writing a story about two Spider-Men. They're both strong, and one of them can be strong when the other is not. Damn. By the end, Miles is more confident, and he's like, yeah, I got this. How much worse can things get after what we just went through? Yo, dead ass. He's not lying. Miles is like, hey, son, I'm from Brooklyn, son. Yo, this is a Tuesday for me. Or is he from Harlem? I think he's from Brooklyn, right? But he lives in Harlem. Arfman, to echo what Brittany said, the idea of two Spider-Man story was always really essential to this game. I think pretty early on, we knew that we wanted to have that moment of handing the reins over. And as we developed it, as we started to lay down more track leading up to that moment, it just felt more and more right. I think it was John who wrote that scene in Aunt May's garage, and it's one of my favorite scenes. The way that Miles intuits exactly what Pete is thinking and stops him from stumbling through trying to hand over the mask. Miles going, you know, I got this, bro. It's such a great moment between the two of them, and it felt like such a natural conclusion. I'm not sure when specifically we decided to do that, but it always felt like the only way the game could end. Yeah, I mean, I don't think so the way they did that end cutscene, but listen, if that's what y'all thought, that's great. But listen, your fans are upset. Not me. Not me. The ones that don't like Miles. All right, so before getting Miles to that point, he gets sidelined. Yes, he does. He gets sidelined as Peter becomes more enmeshed with Harry and the later with the symbiote. That's clearly by design, but did you ever worry about shortchanging Miles too much? Bruh, I'm trying to tell you, when I played that game, when I played the demo early, I was like, this is ass. Miles is trash. And then I was like, oh, Miles is that dude though. Oh, they made Miles the one. Okay, shit. I joined the Spider-Man 2 team maybe about a month into production and remember being asked how I felt about both Spider-Man. They asked, through the view of a player who didn't know what happens next, if I felt like the distribution between the two leads was okay. There was always a constant checking in and going back to our North Star to make sure that we're headed towards the kind of story that we wanted to tell with these two heroes. Arfman, we always knew that it wasn't a mentor-mentee story. This was about two Spider-Man who are incredibly good at what they do. You see in the opening with Sandman that they've got this solid partnership, which then gets challenged by not just Harry and the symbiote, but also Mr. Negative and all these things that are coming in to challenge that core partnership. And I think that's what a lot of OG or fans, I guess, would say, is the fact that Miles is on par with Peter. That bothers people. Listen, I get it. Listen, I get it. Little Mermaid's black. I get it. It's weird. It's weird. It's uncomfortable. Listen, it's what we've lived through our entire lives. But I'm not trying to say that from the perspective of I think Miles needs to be the front man. I love Peter. I think Peter is going to be so important to the third game because at the end of the day, it's his Sinister Six. They don't even know who Miles is. I'll be honest. Miles doesn't even have like enough of his own bad guys. He's got Mr. Negative. That's it. So I understand that, like, even I didn't see that coming. Like, I never thought that. I just kind of sat back and played the game and was like, Miles is really beastie. Okay. And now I'm at a place where I'm just like, oh, well, I mean, if this is what they were always planning to do, then let them do their thing. It ain't got nothing to do with me. But, you know, I get it. I get it from the perspective of like my childhood, my nostalgia. But listen, no disrespect to anyone who is a super Peter fan, but this new generation are Miles Morales Spider-Man fans, if we're going to be real. We're just being, if we're talking about like the way that we grew up with Peter, Fox Kids, that's X-Men. But you know, the Fox Kids cartoon show and the Spectacular Spider-Man and all the old games and Tobey Maguire, it's not the same. I will say Tom Holland is a majority of these kids Spider-Man, but even younger, Miles Morales is for this new generation. That's just what's happening, you know? All right, so throughout development, we pushed and pulled things in different directions because we pride ourselves on being a team where great ideas can come from anywhere. But we always had this confidence that we were going to do service to both Spider-Man and tell an exceptional story starring them both. Along with giving Miles a promotion. A promotion? Stop, don't say it like that. Why you say it like that, IO9? Like this is affirmative action? Oh, bum ass, disrespectful. You've introduced Cindy Moon, aka Silk, into your universe. So that's probably going to be a tag team duo with Miles and Cindy. Of all the Spider heroes, I don't think anyone was expecting her. What made her so appealing over someone like Eddie or Gwen Stacy? Yeah, that's actually a good question. Arfman, Cindy's always been a really compelling character in the comics who's similar to SM1, Spider-Man 1's Martin Lee, hasn't really gotten a ton of exposure outside of the immediate fan base. True. There's something really exciting about taking a character who we love, who not everybody had a chance to meet, and exposing her to a wider audience. Morris, I'm so excited to see what we do with Cindy. Yeah, exactly. That was the real drive with her, and figuring out who Insomniac Cindy Moon is really exciting. Exciting challenge. And we also have this interesting complication that Cindy's dad, Albert, is dating Miles' mom, Rio. It's interesting. And we're thrilled to explore how that creates a new iteration of this character that folks already love. Yeah, I like it. It's a very progressive team who worked on this. Last question. Peter, Harry, and MJ all got the symbiote during the game. Had you ever thought about giving one to Miles? Boy, Miles would have been Oh, Arfman said I'm gonna plead the fifth? What? That was it? That's the end of the art. Oh, that's crazy. Wait. So they thought about it? They was like, now, hold on now. This. Yo, they said, now wait a minute. This little Negro's got too many powers. Yo, man. We might get a symbiote version of Miles later. And you know what? There's actually storylines where Miles does have the symbiote in his own comic. That's why some of his own suits in the game reflect that. There's like a Carnage symbiote where I guess he got it in the comic. I haven't read all these comics, obviously. I didn't know who Cindy Moon was. I knew of Cindy Moon. I wasn't aware, like, when I heard Cindy, because I was like, oh wait, Silk? I've heard that before, but it didn't like really click in my brain when I first saw it and heard it. But yeah, man, what do you all think? Are you butthurt about all these decisions that are being made? Are you frustrated? I get it, you know, but I mean, I think it's just like, bruh, it's just for the video game. I mean, I don't know. I don't have the capacity to feel uncomfortable when things change. It's whatever to me. It's not that deep. unless you're just gonna ruin something like Sonic the Hedgehog with bad CGI. Other than that, I don't really care. But if you do, or if you don't, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, and I hope you enjoyed this video. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. I appreciate those of you who enjoy my content, and if you want to see me talk more about Spider-Man or other games that are coming out, I will do that. I have a few ideas for videos that will be coming down the way. Zelda movie got announced. Huh? Mortal Kombat 1 fatalities. Love to do that for my Patreon people. Grand Theft Auto 6 got announced as well. It's coming soon. Tekken, Mass Effect, Omni-Man gameplay, OG Fortnite, Marvel wants to reboot, and there's a Nintendo Switch 2 that's possibly on its way towards us. So, with that being said, I appreciate those of you, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you later. And yeah, leave those comments down below about your thoughts on this, and let's discuss, okay? And don't be mad.